Baby, I'm through. I know my life is bigger than you.
Hi guys,
You know what you
welcome back.
to be what you want.
Season 7.
Pretend to be something I'm not.
Have some Emily Wise Band playing because she's my guest today. Happy Monday, everyone. How was your weekend? Mine was pretty chill. Not much going on. Still can't find my wallet. So that's interesting. My herbs, if you've been following along, I know I haven't given you an update. They're doing okay. To say, I did go to the farmer's market yesterday and look at, the guy that I bought them from, looked at his booth again, and they all looked like way better than mine look. But I don't think they're dead. So I just keep watering them a lot because they seem dry and droopy, but then I get nervous that I'm overwatering. Like, does anyone have that thing with plants that it's like when there's something wrong and you Google it and it's like, my plant's dying, it's like, well, it could be overwatering, it could be underwatering, it could be too much sun, it could be not enough sun. It's just like, how are you supposed to tell? So that's kind of the problem I'm having. Just sort of eyeballing it, which maybe is what you have to do because, I don't know. So far my plants are doing okay. Anyway, I'm very excited about this week. It might be the last week for a while, which is actually kind of sad. Kind of getting into a routine, but who knows? There are no rules. I could keep going after this. Who knows? But yeah, I'm really excited about this week. Have some awesome people coming on, and today is no exception. I'm going to be talking to Emily Wise Band today. She's a songwriter, artist. I'm just a huge fan of her, so let's go ahead and get her in here so we can get started. On it. Oh,
Hi.
she's in the car.
I'm in the car. I know. I won't be in the car the whole time, but for a little bit I will be.
That's okay. That's the thing with Instagram Live. We can be mobile.
You can be anywhere. I know. It's perfect. I honestly just went to a restaurant for the first time ever.
Like you went in?
Yeah, like you went in. They're in phase 1 here in Nashville.
Oh,
so
my God. Why does that feel so insane?
Dude, I freaking know. It was crazy.
And wait, are you
crazy?
driving?
I mean, not crazy at all. It was the most underwhelming, anticlimactic thing ever, and it was kind of great.
Wait, did they make you like stand 6 feet apart to get in, or like was it like limited seating?
Yeah, I mean, we went to like kind of a like low key part of town. It wasn't.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't by any means like a poppin' place. But it was fun. Like just sat. There were like literally 5 people in there.
Oh,
I just have to like get out of the house if it's allowed. Like, okay.
Oh yeah. No, I can't wait for that to happen here. I'm like, any chance I can get to get out of the house, I'm taking it. I don't know.
I know.
But it also feels scary because in LA, like everywhere we go, you have to wear a mask.
Oh yeah.
So it's like everyone's in a mask, everyone's 6 feet apart. It's like it feels very apocalyptic when you leave the house.
I'm with you, man. It's creepy. It's creepy. How have you been like handling everything?
Oh, I just started this talk show.
Yeah.
I guess that's how I know what I'm going to do in a crisis. I just start talking to strangers on the internet.
Yeah, that's perfect. I feel like we're all doing that.
Yeah, we're all doing
I've never talked to more strangers on the internet in my life.
I know, me neither. And I kind of love it. So, no, I'm doing okay now. I mean, I was about to leave for a tour, like days away. And I had some other exciting stuff going on. And that all obviously is just got halted, and I think that happened to a lot of people, and it just sucked. But
any plans you had were kind of, I get that. What were you gonna do? Like, you were gonna go on a tour and stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna go on tour like a 6 week like US tour with the band Hot Shell Ray.
Sick. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I know.
Dang it.
But you know, what can you do? Nothing. Can't do anything.
Nothing. If there's one thing I've been learning during this time, it's that I do too much doing and I need to be a little more.
Yeah, it's definitely bringing up some of those deep down
I know.
thoughts.
I'm like, everybody's gonna have to face their demons, like alone with your thoughts for
Yeah.
2 months. It's
Although I do feel like as songwriters, you sort of are always having to do that anyway. So maybe we've had good practice with like, I mean, but still, we can also run around and avoid a lot of stuff too. So
It's true, and I'm thankful I've been quarantining with like my siblings and stuff, and
same.
so I haven't been fully alone.
Yeah, that would be tough. But how are you guys doing? Like quarantined as siblings? Is it nice or is it a little getting like okay?
It's been both. It's definitely
Yeah.
been both. It's been really nice to not be alone and to like have constant friends, but it definitely, we all have been working from home, so it definitely took a couple weeks to get like the volume levels on everybody's work correct. It's like so much doing a Zoom. One of my sisters is in like insurance marketing, so she's doing a Zoom meeting there. And then one of my other sisters is one of the vice presidents of Sony ATV here in Nashville, so she's doing her pitch meetings on Zoom. So there, and then I'm writing songs, and my other sister is teaching on like English as a foreign language online. So everybody was kind of like,
Oh my God.
turn it down. Like we've definitely gotten a couple fisticuffs, but it's been really good. It's been really good. Just, you know, we were talking about this earlier, like at some point you're like, I need to hang out with somebody who does not share the same last name as me. I need to
My last name, exactly. I need other brains. I need other input that didn't have my same childhood.
But like, I'm being classic
But
girl
it's
right
also
now.
really
Like,
nice.
oh yeah, and I'm being classic girl right now, but like my nails look horrible. Like my hair, my roots are like majorly, I mean.
Oh yeah. I know. I was wondering today, like, should I just go brunette? Like, I don't know what to do. Because it's already kind of happening.
Dude, it looks good. Blondes can get away with
Oh,
that.
thanks.
Y'all can
I
get
don't
away
know,
with
like,
roots. It looks cool.
I like it on other people, but of course it's like on myself. I'm like, ew, I hate it.
I know, we're all so
But
critical of ourselves though.
I know. But I'm from South Georgia, so like I've literally been dyeing my hair since I was like in 7th grade.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't even know what my natural hair color is.
That's literally amazing. My parents did not let me dye my hair growing up, so it was like my rebellious move when I got to college. I didn't.
Did you ever like go blonde?
Black. What?
Did you ever like go blonde?
No, I never went blonde, but I put on. I actually got an app the other day where I could try on like blonde hair, and it wouldn't be that bad. I have thought about going redhead.
Okay, yeah.
I think I could rock that.
Cool. Yeah,
I think so too. But then I'm like, whatever. It's honestly, my family, we have a certain aesthetic. This sounds so stupid. And, whatever. My family, there's a lot of girls, and we all kind of look the exact same. So if one of us have red hair, it would kind of throw off the family aesthetic. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're all kind of like dark hair, light eyes. Like, let's just keep the trend.
Let's just keep the wise man look going.
Let's just keep it alive. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say a few years ago, I was dating this guy, and he was like super short, and I didn't want to be taller than him, so I stopped wearing heels. Me and all my sisters, we wear heels all the time. I stopped wearing heels, and I started wearing like Vans and like t-shirt. I started dressing like him, honestly. Let's be real.
Right.
It was not good. And I came home one day, and they had an intervention. They were all sitting on the couch, and they were like, "Dude, you have family aesthetic. We got to get back to sex on a stick. You got to put some heels back on and like suck it up." And it was like actually really funny. So we got a tight leash on the looks over here.
Is that what you wrote? Is that what you wrote? Something I'm not about?
Actually, yeah. I totally did write about that person.
You're like, I gotta get back to my heels.
I know. I was like, I'm not. I don't wear pants. Like, I'm not a skater girl. It's not what I am.
Right.
But
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
really
I'm
funny.
very much heavy on. I definitely wear mostly sneakers. I am very much a Vans girl, so I feel like if I started wearing heels every day, people would be like, Katelyn, what's going on?
Absolutely. It's whatever
Just
you
gotta
are.
stay true. You gotta stay true.
Exactly. You have to.
Yeah.
The older I get, though, the more I do
well,
cut down on heels in other places.
Right. Yeah, and especially right now, we got to keep it comfy.
I know. Seriously, it's true. It's true.
I think we're on a little bit of a delay, so this is very.
We must be. I'm sorry. I'm like, Oh well, we're gonna break.
So thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, dude. I freaking love you.
We've never met in person, but we have a lot of mutual friends. And I was explaining to you before this, I was like, hey, you know, like I'm not here to play it cool. Like I'm definitely a huge fan. Like I love your writing, and I'm just here to lay it out, put it all out there. But for me, a couple years ago, I heard the song Consequences by Camila Cabello. I was listening to her album, and that song just jumped out at me. I was like, oh my God, I love this. And then, of course, I immediately look at who wrote it, and it was you and Nicole Gallion and Amy Wadge, right?
Yes.
Who are amazing.
They're
and I was like, who's Emily Wiseman? And so that's kind of when I started to keep up with you and truly become a big fan. And I know you've written songs. I mean, you've been writing songs for a few years now. You've written for Camila and Keith Urban, and you've written a BTS song. And you just wrote on the Len and Stella album, which I'm obsessed with, and Older Than I Am just completely destroyed me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Which, by the way, I followed John Mayer, and he's a favorite of mine, and I saw that he posted about that song.
I died. I actually had a condition. I was just flipping through my gram, and I was like, oh! I actually had a physical response to it. I was so excited.
Did you discover it just by flipping through, or did someone tell you?
So it was like somebody had tagged me in. They had tagged me in it. Really, they were like, I was gonna post about how good this song is, but John Mayer beat me to it, and I was like, what? So then I kept flipping through so that I could have the actual experience later in the day, and I went to his profile and looked at it. And it was so
fun. That's crazy.
It was yeah.
But I really appreciate your honesty in your writing, and I feel like it's so raw and candid, and I just think it's great. So I'm really excited to talk to you and just kind of fangirl out for a bit. But you're from Virginia, right? And did you grow up kind of writing songs and did you always kind of know you could do it, or was it something you found or just discovered, or?
I honestly, those people that you have a personality bond with, and you're you just right away you know what they're thinking, you know what they're about. Well, I wanted that with my dad so bad, but I just didn't have it. My sister had that with my dad, and I don't know. My dad loved music, so one Christmas he bought us every instrument that you could need to start a band. He had this dream of us being a family band.
Yeah.
Everybody else was like, "Oh, cool, Dad. I don't care." But I was like, "Yeah, thanks, Dad. Thanks." And I picked up a guitar and asked him to show me some chords. And then a few weeks later, I wrote a song, and he honestly loved it and freaked out. And I just got addicted to that feeling. writing a song and my dad crying, and it
Oh.
I was like 10 or 11. It like became our thing.
Yeah, there's nothing like that.
Nothing like it. And so, yeah, and then it just kind of like caught fire in me and turned into this thing that I just love to do. So, yeah, that's kind of when I started. And I honestly grew up in church. And so I kind of only wrote Christian songs because I was just young and thought that if I was a Christian, I could only write Christian songs.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, the more I started like kissing boys and like dating and getting out in the real world, the more I started realizing I could write about other things. And
yeah.
God is good. But yeah, that's kind of where it started. And then I moved to Belmont. I moved to Nashville to go to Belmont in college. And,
right.
You know, my publisher saw me play a showcase one night and was like, I think you could be a hit songwriter. And just having somebody in the industry a few months after I moved here kind of believe in my writing. I definitely wasn't ready. Like, my songs sucked, but the fact that he was like, I see a lot of potential in you, it kind of made me take it more seriously. And that's when I really started, like, actually for real trying to do it. So
yeah, and I mean, you've already had such an impressive career. I mean, after that happened, you got your first cut at what, like 20 or something?
Yeah, I signed my published deal when I was like 19 or like 19 maybe just turned 20 or was about to turn 20.
Yeah.
And I got my first like cut when I was 20. When did you move to LA? 11 years ago?
I moved to LA in 2009.
Okay, cool. Did you like I want to do music, I'm moving to LA?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I like was all set to go to University of Georgia. Like, you know, I was raised similar to you, and you know, I was raised in a really small town. I don't know if like where you're from is super small.
Yeah, it's like medium.
Yeah, so mine's like truly like
Everyone
small. Yeah, like 3,000 people, 2 stoplights, like very small, and it's like everyone, you know, typically go to high school, you go to college, you get married, you move back, or you move close, and so I had done some music in high school because I had done American Juniors, which was like American Idol for kids. And so I was like, you know, obsessed with eventually making it out to LA. But when it came time to actually make the move, I was like, oh, like, can I really do this? And I applied for college. I got in. I was like getting my dorm assignment and everything. And then I was also had gotten into some acting stuff at that point. So I had auditioned for this Nickelodeon show called Big Time Rush. That
Time Rush? Were you on Big Time Rush?
yes.
You were not. Dude, I loved Big Time Rush.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, you're in good company. A lot of people watching know me from Big Time Rush. So yeah.
Dude, sick.
Yeah, so I got Big Time Rush before I moved out here, and that kind of helped.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, me make the move a little bit like less like, oh, I'll just go to LA and see what happens.
You have a reason to be there, like a major.
Yeah, which really helped my parents feel a little bit better about it too. But
Sure.
And also my brother moved out here with me, so we were together, which was really fun.
So fun.
Yeah.
I love the sibling camaraderie.
Oh yeah, you gotta have it. Are you and your siblings like, or people are like, I think you guys might be too close?
Me and my siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is with us.
Too close is 100% accurate. They're cultish. It's like,
yeah.
We were talking the other day, there are amazing things about being from a big, tight family.
Mm-hmm.
That your whole life is, no life decision has been made solely on what you want to do. It's like, every restaurant you go to, every vacation you go on, it's got to be run through like 6 or 7 other people.
Yes.
Self-sacrifice is like breathing to you. On the other hand of that, it's like, oh, for people wondering, I am not driving. I'm in the passenger seat. So
if you were driving,
or like, are you safe? I'm like, yes. I promise. I don't insta live and drive at the same time.
Oh.
But on the flip side of that, there's no boundaries, no privacy.
No,
Like,
none.
you literally can't go anywhere and do anything without the whole family being, where are you going? Why are you doing that? Well, and then you get
Exactly.
roasted for it, and then every life experience turns into like a roast sesh,
Yeah,
and you're everything.
absolutely. You can't do anything. Like,
You can't do anything. You
if,
can't.
if if one of us walks in with like a new hat or like maybe something we're trying to try out, it's like, oh, a hat. Oh,
Oh,
a
a
hat,
hat. You wear a hat.
girl.
Never
Wow.
worn a hat before. It's like, okay, fine. I'll have to wear the hat.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it home. Never wear it again.
Oh, true.
Oh my
God, I
god.
can't.
Like, and especially like sibling order. Like, where do you fall?
Oh, well, I'm the oldest.
Okay. Well, so you're in
It's
charge.
like, well,
I have an older brother, so
yeah, I would say my sister below me is probably more in charge, but only because she likes to be. I'm more go with the flow. So like,
okay.
if I was less go with the flow, I would probably, yes, definitely be in charge. But
Right.
I'm just like, I'm too pliant. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Okay, sure. Like, I'll make it work. And then
Okay,
I don't
interesting.
know.
Yeah.
I will say, like, my first kiss was the whole family's first kiss. My first
Absolutely.
the whole family's first breakup. So it was kind of like I was the family guinea pig in a lot of ways, and they would roast me for saying that. I couldn't even say that. Oh, you poor thing, you poor little victim, guinea pig in the family. Yeah, so it's definitely like all eyes on you. I've always felt this very much like this performance pressure to set the tone right of the family, and so it's
Yeah.
I did not like messing up, because if I did something awesome, the whole family would like applaud me and I get praised for days. But if I failed, it was like a learning lesson for the whole family. So it was like I did not like to fail.
Right.
I really was doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I know. I
Are
could
you
talk about
brother
like
type?
sibling dynamics all day.
Love sibling
Do what?
dynamic. Are you and your brother tight?
Yeah, super close. We live in a duplex, so he lives next door.
That is so fun. Wow.
Very fun. Yeah. And then my younger sister lives down the street, so she's pretty much here all the time too. So it's really nice.
Dude, I love the sibling proximity.
I know. Anyway, sorry, it's a little choppy, so I'm like
Oh, sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. So sibling dynamics aside, because I do feel like we could go on that rabbit trail all day. So like you started writing songs and you were like, cool, I'm getting into this. And then when did you sort of have the thought of like, oh, like, do I need to put some of these out myself? Like, because I know I read like some interviews with you and you're like, I never set out to be an artist. So like, yeah.
Well, oh god. When I signed my it's a whole can of worms. The more I talk about it, the more I try to like shorten my spiel.
I know. It's tough.
You know how it is. But long story short, I mean, we put it in legal writing that I was not going to be an artist.
Oh, wow.
So when I moved to Nashville, it was like when I signed my deal, I remember my publisher, he's kind of like family to me at this point.
Yeah.
Who kind of found me and saw something in me. He is still my publisher to this day.
Cool.
But when we met, he was like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe I could be a songwriter, and then like, I don't know, maybe someday like do the artist thing." He goes, "No, I'm gonna stop you there." He was like, "I want to be able to brand you. I want to be able to go in a room and say, this is Emily Wiseman. This is what she does. This is what she's about. And if you're split on what you want to do, I can't brand you. It's like, I can't get you in a room with Keith Urban or Thomas Rhett saying that you might want to be an artist someday. Like, it's not going to happen." And he was like, "So I just think you need to pick which one you want to do and then let life happen. And if you're supposed to be an artist one day, that will organically, naturally happen. We'll know that then. But just out of the gate, I think I need you to be decisive." And so I was like, all right, I just want to be a songwriter, because I also kind of got to see behind the scenes a little bit, and it's not a glamorous life by any means.
Of what, being an artist, or
being an artist? It's
what
like,
do you mean? It's so, I don't know, so glamorous. I don't know.
Flashy and fun all the time.
Yeah, it's easy.
So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be a writer, and I felt a lot of purpose there. I felt purpose going into rooms and not talking about my feelings all the time, but talking about your feelings, and then taking how I relate to those feelings and creating something. And then there's no feeling I love more than being like at a show, at a concert, or like in an arena somewhere and hear a bunch of people sing a song I wrote, and nobody in that room knows that I wrote it. It's like my own little secret. I'm there.
Yeah, that is cool.
Only you do. It's like the coolest feeling. And so, yeah, long story short, I kind of got a crash course in writing for other people and writing with artists, because, you know, I out of the gate was like, I don't want to be an artist. So there was no confusion about what my role was going to be in any of these situations.
Right.
I could get into them easier. And it was, so I was singing on a lot of demos. I was singing background vocals on a lot of records, just from working so closely with other artists. And then things happen in threes for me. It's kind of like a little God thing where I mean, I've broken up with people because 3 times in 1 week it was like, hey, you're in a bad situation, and I'm like, oh, I'm taking it as a sign. By the 3rd time, especially if I already kind of felt like it was the wrong thing, just I like, that's happened before. So I know. So I got somebody from a country label here in Nashville was like, hey, we've been hearing your voice on a lot of demos, and we'd love to sign you to a record deal and, like, you know, start maybe going down the path of you being an artist. And I don't know, I just was like, very flattered, but no thank you. And a few days later, I got the same kind of offer from a Christian record label. And I was like, definitely not doing that.
Right.
And,
but at that point, are you kind of going like, what's happening?
I was just, it was like weird. They were saying a lot of the same stuff. Like, yeah, oh, that's, well, if you need another year to write, we understand. But like, if you ever get to a point where you want to make a record, please call us. Like, we want to be the people you do it with. And it was just, I don't know. It was just kind of like, ooh, I'm getting a lot of attention in this way this week. That's strange. But I didn't really think that much about it until like 45 minutes after I turned down this like kind of Christian opportunity. I get this call from LA. It's from a guy named Mike Elizondo. He was an A&R at Warner Records at the time, and he called me and said, hey, I've been hearing your voice on these demos that have been coming through the office, and I just got this gut feeling, like, whoever this girl is singing this song, like, I need to make a project with her. And so I was like, nice to meet you. No, I'm not an artist. And he was like, well, I understand if you need another year to write, but if you ever change your mind. And I was like, this is just too weird.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd never thought about it. And so then I was like, all right, God, you're funny. Like, I'm not going to do that, because just because 3 times in 1 week I got a little bit of attention for my singing voice, I'm not going to, like, waltz in the office and go, hey, remember that thing we put in legal writing? Let's call up the lawyer. Let's change the whole contract. 2 years into it. Like, no, yeah, I was like, absolutely not doing that. So I went into I just turned him down, and a few days later I went into the publishing house, and my publisher was like, hey, can I talk to you? We got a call from this guy in LA, and we think you should go. He's like, I don't know why, but we have this gut feeling in our stomach. And so I there was nothing I had to do. It was kind of done for me. And
yeah,
they put me on a flight to LA, and I knocked on the dude's door like, hi, nice to meet you. And then yeah, I don't know, they were like, you don't have to commit to anything, just like, let's just start writing and see if you have anything to say. Because at the end of the day, that was it for me. I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I need to have songs that I feel like I'm saying something in, because just doing this, there's a million reasons to not be an artist. You're gonna hear no every day. So the one reason you do want to do it has to be louder than the 150 reasons to not do it.
Right.
You know? So
yeah,
I just went and I wrote for a year, and I didn't write anything. I honestly low-key kind of gave up, because because I was like, well, I've been trying to do this for a year, and simultaneously I was, you know, going through some stuff in my personal life where I was just learning a lot about who I am and what I'm about, and so I kind of gave up in my mind. I went back to Nashville, and I kind of had this, honestly, like this like bloody little night. I was like, you know, just doing stuff that was like very out of character for me. And it was not like the first weekend I'd done it. It was like probably the fourth or fifth weekend in a row. And I was pissing my friends off and my family. They were just like, what the hell are you doing, dude? And so, yeah, I just woke up one morning and I was over the place I was in. And my sister was like, no one's putting you here. You're putting you here. And I was like, oh, shit. So I called one of my friends. I was like, hey, I just need to get something off my chest. We went and we wrote this song, and I just stuck it in my email. Honestly, I really didn't even turn it in because my first thought was, well, Keith Urban's never going to record this, or Lady Antebellum's never going to want to do this. And my sister sent my email and was like, what's this song? And I was like, oh, I wrote it after our talk the other day. No one's going to cut it, so I didn't turn it in. She was like, yeah, no one's going to cut this because it's an Emily song. And that was like the first time somebody had song. So I don't know. It was that where I thought, oh crap, maybe I do have something to say. And I don't know. It was another like 2 or 3 years before I actually signed my record deal. But I definitely had to do a lot of digging into. I had to open a big ass can of worms and kind of see what was in there. And
that's the interesting thing about, like, you know, the decision to like be an artist or whatever is like you kind of have to realize that means like, okay, that means I have to start like digging into who I am and what I want to say, because that's so much of being an artist. It's like sharing your life and you have to like always be analyzing what's going on.
You really do. What moment where you were like, this is who I am as an artist? Like, did you have a moment like that?
I mean, I feel like I have been, you know, releasing songs as Katelyn Tarver since I was like 16. And those were songs that I did not write, that I was like, just kind of, it was when I was like, I just want to sing. I just want to like be on stage. I love to perform. And so people wrote me like a little pop CD. And I mean, this was a long time ago. And so, and I would go and I would perform the songs, and then someone encouraged me to write. And then I started writing. And then I got an EP that I had written all the songs on. And I was like, oh, this feels kind of nice. It's like, I'm able to share a little bit of what I'm going through. And then I got signed to a deal. Like, that was a whole phase, and I wrote a lot while I was on that deal, and it was a good like crash course in being like, because I didn't feel like I had anyone super early on be like, all this is like staying true to yourself and sharing what your point of view or what your opinion is, or how you see the situation. That's all it is.
Like the natural way you process your thoughts and feelings through your own words is fresh enough.
There was a lot of emphasis on you know, the business side of it, and like getting a hit song, or like write till you get a hit. And it's like, that's obviously an aspect of it and very important, and like I get it, but I think, you know, it's cool that you had that guidance early on to be like, hey, we hear something in you, keep going with that, like keep exploring that, because I feel like that's all it is. And I had a little bit of a more like, I don't know, I feel like a longer journey towards that for myself. But like, I definitely feel like, you know, I've been putting out music for a couple years now, and I feel like all these songs are definitely snapshots of like places I was in my life. And I feel like that's just all I try to focus on now, is like sharing whatever it is that I think keeps coming into my brain, or keeps, you know, because it's like paying attention to when a song like Consequences hits me. It's like, oh, why does this hit me? Like, what's in that I'm responding to?
Totally.
You know?
Totally. It's so cool, like the power of music to just like, you open your eyes at the end of a song and you're like, oh crap, I'm in a room of my heart and brain that I don't go into. And
Yeah.
why don't I go in there? And why am I in here now? And what do I now have to face now that I am in here? And it's like,
yeah,
it's cool to like have that power as a creator to
yeah,
like, put people in that room. And so,
yeah.
especially hearing that you get to put other creators in that room, that's like such a special thing.
I
Like,
know. Yeah, it's
really cool.
pretty wild. But that's why I loved when you did finally release your debut EP, Identity Crisis, last year, right? Last fall?
It did, yeah. It was last October, I guess.
And I love the whole theme of it. I love this idea of like writing about all the different versions of yourself and how they all have a spot. And I feel like that's such a relatable feeling, but not something that's easy to express. It's like, I, for one, always walk around and I'm like, one day I feel like this girl, one day I feel like this girl. And it's like, why am I such a contradiction? Because I think, especially with social media and stuff now, there's like this idea of we're all, showing a side of ourselves. It's just only natural to do that. But it sort of messes with your head a little bit because it makes you go like, well, who am I? Because it's hard to know. And I loved, all the songs on there exploring just different sides of yourself and going like really, deep and candid and sharing some of that stuff. I felt like it really made an impact.
Aw, thanks. I feel like we all just want to belong and we want to make sense of where we fit into the world. So labels are such a thing now where it's like, oh, well, I'm the blah, blah, blah girl.
Yeah.
And you just like live into that, and it keeps the peace in your environment, your community, with yourself, the whole thing. So it's like, I don't know, that was kind of the can of worms that I had to open of like, I was raised in a Christian home with, all these siblings where I didn't really need to make friends outside of my siblings because I had them. I mean, I had like 4 or 5 like built-in friends right there, and we all thought the same stuff and believed the same stuff. And then I moved to college, and I'm in this big city like by myself, and I'm meeting new people with different ideas, and I'm finding that I love having a drink and hanging out with my friends in a bar, but then I also love going to church with my best friend Mackenzie, and I found myself like trying to be a million different things, and I was like, why? I go into bars and I see people making out and writing about it the next day, and I'm like, oh, that's what the music industry is. I need that. You know what I mean? And then I go into my friend's Bible study, and I'm like, oh, I got to be over spiritual Bible study girl. And then I would find myself being defiant in these different places. Like I'd go into the bar and I'd be over spiritual to make up for the fact that I felt like I was not whatever. But then I'd go into church and be over sexual to make up for the fact that I was not, you know what I mean? And it just turned into this thing where I was like, wait a minute.
Totally.
And so it was kind of just like simultaneously as I'm going through this process that I was talking about earlier of like trying to write and figure out like what if I had something to say, what would it be? Like I'm also simultaneously going through this, like I'm going to therapy, and I'm seeing that they're like, she told me about a conference room. She goes, Emily Wiseman is a conference table. She said, we're all conference tables.
Yeah.
So we are conference tables, and sitting at the table is sexual Emily and spiritual Emily and funny Emily and serious Emily and childlike Emily and mature Emily. And they're all you, they're all there, they're all real, but you will really start to fall in love with just being who you are when you realize that your true self is sitting at the table and you get to head the meeting, and you get to like in every situation you go into, you get to decide who heads the meeting. And it doesn't make the other ones inauthentic. It just makes you in control of them rather than them being in control of you.
Yeah.
So it was cool because I could go into church and like really connect with my friends there because that is so me. But then I could go into the bar and have a drink and have fun with my friends and really connect there and know that this thing in me, it doesn't make it inauthentic. It just makes me able to connect with the world more.
Right.
Live fully into everything that I am. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that idea. And I feel like it's so free, kind of figure out how to get to that place and accept all the different parts of yourself. And I like to write songs about, these kind of themes too. So it's always really inspiring to me to sort of hear other people's way of doing it. And it's like, so, it's like some solidarity. It's like, okay, yeah. Like, there is
totally
just trying to express that. And I mean, one of the songs on the EP that I really love is Healthy. And I think a lot of people love that song. Because I feel like, how I could perceive that song is just being about like resisting something good because it might mean you have to grow up or like kind of change some things that you're not ready to change. And I had never heard it expressed like that before, but I feel like I talk about that with my friends all the time. So it was cool to hear it in a song expressed in the way that you did it. And how did that song come about?
Well, that one came about because I had the title Healthy in my phone, and I was thinking about this guy. It was a guy I dated a few years ago, and we actually had a very toxic relationship. It was actually not very healthy at all, but it was definitely healthier than the one before that. So I was kind of like afraid of it, and I was like, well, it's just too healthy. I would like say that to my friends all the time, like, it's just, I'll have to be held accountable, and I'll have to chill out and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if I'm cut out to like love somebody like that. And really at the end of the day, it kind of comes back to, I wasn't sure I was worthy of that whole situation. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think at the very, very, very bottom of the emotion, it's like, there's something in you that does not believe you're worthy of a healthy relationship.
Right.
And so you're afraid of it, and you make all these excuses like, it's just, I'll have to grow up and I'll have to blah, blah, blah. But really, you're like, I just don't know that I'm cut out, but there's something in me that tells me I'm not worthy of it. You know what I mean? And so we actually wrote the song, and I actually pitched it. Like, Jordan Sparks wanted to cut it. And so I'm sorry. My new healthy boyfriend, my actual healthy boyfriend, is distracting me. I'm about to show y'all what he's doing. He's literally lifting up a shirt and being dumb.
We tell him this is very serious stuff.
Excuse me, this is very serious.
I don't know if you know, but I mean, there's 82 people watching, so I mean, this is some stuff, okay?
Excuse me, you're interrupting my conversation with my friend Katelyn. We wrote the song, and it actually sat on my computer for a couple years. Some other people wanted to cut it, and then we had broken up, and I started dating another guy who was actually like, could have been potentially a very healthy situation. And it popped up on my computer when I was doing my makeup one morning, and I was like, oh, I just related to it on a whole new level. Like I didn't write it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I honestly, and I kind of thought that the idea was too specific to me.
Yeah.
Because, we all think we're the only one who feels that way.
Sure, yeah.
Who doesn't want a healthy relationship,
Right. Something must be wrong.
Yeah, on a multiple choice test, we would all pick, yes, I would like a healthy relationship.
Right.
So I was like, oh, it's just too specific to me. And so I just remember that morning I had heard it, and I connected with it in a new way, and I posted a little piece of it on my Instagram, and it just I'd never gotten a response like that about a song ever.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, I guess this matters to people.
I guess I'm not the only one.
You know what I mean? And so I played it for the guy who was producing. I'm sorry, my battery was saying it was low. I played it for the guy who's gonna do my record, and he was like, why have you never played this for me? And I was like, oh, I guess this song's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we ended up putting it out, but I love that song, and I just think there's such a trend right now that oh, I'm too, being psycho is good for my art, and being heartbroken is good for my art, and a healthy relationship is going to stunt my creativity, and you're not cool if you're in a healthy relationship because cool girls are sad girls, and like this whole thing. And I honestly kind of bought into it a little bit, but just the further down the road I get, and I'm sure, I mean, you're married, so you are probably in this.
I've really got it figured out.
You really have it all figured out. But you know, I'm learning that it's cool to like be supported and not do life alone. You know what I mean? And that not doing life alone makes you more creative, and it makes you more able to make your dreams come true and all this stuff. So, you know, there'll always be this thing in me that's like, oh, it's just too healthy.
Well, that's what's cool about writing songs, though, is like you now can write a song about that feeling, and it's like it took that emotion to get you to hear, and you know, just growth and positivity.
Yes, but it also doesn't mean that feeling is completely gone.
Right.
It means that, like, there's so much choice when it comes to love. Like there's at some point you just choose somebody, you make a decision, and you're like, I decide to love you, and you know what I mean? And there's this mature, deep, beautiful, real growth that comes out of making a choice like that. And this level of love that you can even experience when you decide, let me just live for a minute like I am worthy of a healthy relationship, and see how it goes. And it ends up, you know, healthy means effed up, honestly. I think what I'm learning is that healthy does not equal perfect. Healthy equals very effed up and like hard and conversations you do not want to have.
Exactly.
And all that stuff. So it's actually quite exciting.
And that is exciting. Wow.
It's not as stuffy and old as I may have once thought it was, but
wow. Well, sounds like you're in love.
I don't know. Don't say that.
I gotta go. No, but that's so true. I think, but I love that you did write a healthy when you did, because that's what you were feeling, and so many people connect with that. And just because that it's not like your mission statement, you know, you're allowed to grow and change. And I think that's what's so cool about writing the songs and being as candid as you did. I mean, even in one of yours, even in Identity Crisis, you have the line that's like, oh, holy shit, it's heavy being in your 20s. And it's like, that's, you know, it's so real. There's so much going on and so much to figure out and feel like you have to figure out. And then you realize that you never will. And that's actually not even the point. But it's so cool to be able to express those feelings along the way. And like you were saying earlier, that's why music is the best, because we can all listen to it and be like, oh man, I feel that. And like, I feel connected, which is, amazing. So
it's so fun.
Okay. One last question that I'm curious about. Have you written a song and been like, not sure if it's for you or for someone else, and then you pitched it and they wanted it and you're like, oh, I kind of wish I would have kept it, or like vice versa? And you don't have to name names, but
I would say, I mean, Consequences even was probably like that. I mean, I'm very much a believer that songs end up where they're supposed to. There's no song that I regret. Like, there's no song where I'm like, oh, I wish that was mine, because it's not how it happened. So I just have to trust that it ended up where it was supposed to end up, and that was not my song. But I would say, of all the songs that other people have cut, like, probably Consequences was the one that I was like, this is probably the most, I would have put that song on my record if it was not cut by somebody else. But the fact that it was cut by somebody else was kind of like, okay, great, that's where it belonged. So I don't regret it at all. I don't wish it worked out different. But that
makes sense.
Probably, I mean, if we get married to songs, like, we're gonna be so disappointed, because I'm hearing about them all the time, you know. So I've kind of like, I think spending all those years being a songwriter for other people, like, it really kind of trained me to not get so attached to songs that I couldn't grow beyond them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I know.
So,
I do that a lot with songs. I'm like, this is my song. Like, this is the
my
one.
baby.
Yeah, like it's
Yes.
so hard.
Yes, and to a degree, that is so. Especially you being an artist, like there are songs that are your songs. They are your children. You can't pick your favorite. You just you love this thing, even if everybody else thought it was the ugliest thing in the world. Like you nurse that baby and you love it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think there will always be this bone in me of like flexibility, just because.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are songs that I just get hooked on, and I've started paying attention to how I feel playing it for somebody. So, I was writing with Keith Urban one day, and it was before my project came out, and Nicole Kidman called him, and I was like, Nicole Kidman, I was freaking out, and he said, "All right, baby, love you, bye," and I'm like, Keith, I have to ask you. I was like, if you play a song for Nicole and she loves it, like, will that determine whether or not it like makes your project?
Oh.
Or like, if you love a song and she doesn't like it, will you like? Does it not make the record? Like, how does that work? And he said, Em, I stopped paying attention to how other people responded to my songs, and I started paying more attention to how I felt playing it for them.
Oh.
And he was like, and if I could play somebody a song and I just felt so proud of it while I was playing it for them, that's probably my song, no matter how they were responding. And so it honestly, there are songs that did not make Identity Crisis, because after he said that to me, I started playing them for people, and if I was proud of it anyway, it made the project. And if I played it for somebody and they were, even if they responded amazing, but I felt myself like shrinking back a little and like unsure, I was like, my song, I can't stand it.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
I know. So
thanks, Keith.
Thanks, Keith. Really appreciate it. That's kind of what I've been going by. Like, I'll play somebody a song, and I'll feel like super proud playing it for them, and I'm like, oh, this must be my song. Or I'll be like, hey, just so you know, like so and so wants to put a vocal on this, and if I go, no, that's my song, then I'm like, oh wait, that might be my song. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's so hard. I get so worked up about people, like at least like my friends and family, when I play it and they're like, I'm just like, what?
I know.
It's tough.
I know, it's hard. Like when you work so hard on a song and then you turn it in, you get the email, cool song, and you're like,
you might as well have just been like, I hate you.
You might as well have told me to quit.
I hate you. I hate everything you've ever done.
You suck.
As a person, as a whole.
Yeah. It's such a real thing. I'm like, I spent 5 hours pouring my heart and soul into this.
Yeah.
Cool song, and that's it?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah. Those punctuation and what they say really matters.
I know, it's such a thing.
Oh man. Well,
but you're trying to write for other people now.
Do what?
You're writing for other people now.
Yeah, I got my first song that I actually got cut by another artist was in 2014, Cheryl Cole. Do you know who that is? She cut a song that I wrote called Crazy Stupid Love and released it as a single, and it like went #1 in the UK.
Dude, that's awesome.
Which was crazy. And I mean, that was when I was in the middle of writing my album, and I was like, I don't know if the song's for me. And it was like the first example of someone connecting to a song that you wrote and being like, oh, wow. Okay. It was super cool to hear her on it. And then, I did Songland and Old Dominion.
Songland winner right here.
Stop.
Oh my God, I'm totally going to go watch that episode tonight. And I love Old Dominion too, so I can't wait to hear like what you wrote for them.
Yeah, I love them too, and they're all such good writers. It was horrifying.
Yeah, so do they tell you when you go on that show, like, it's for Old Dominion, so, like, write for that? Or do you just...
No, like, you just turned in a bunch of songs, and they're like, okay, these are some of the artists that are maybe going to come on the show. And then the producers of the show, like, place your song with who they think it's right for.
Right.
And then you get, like... You're already signed on to do the show. You're like, cool, I'm doing an episode. I still don't know who my artist is.
Don't know who the artist is.
And then I found out it was Old Dominion. And then also it was like for Jeep, which you'll see in the episode. But yeah.
Heck yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was a very cool experience. And yeah. they said.
Well, congrats. I'm totally going to watch the episode tonight.
Yeah, watch it and let me know what you think.
I will. I'm serious.
Well, Emily, I will let you go. We've successfully gabbed it up for about an hour. So
We really did. We
Yeah.
really did.
Well,
I told you we gotta hang out when I'm in LA next.
we gotta hang out. If we're all ever allowed to leave our houses again and get on planes and go to other cities, we're staying.
Absolutely.
But seriously, I really do appreciate your commitment to portraying the messiness of life and humans and how we're multifaceted and different and shouldn't be in a box. And I really do. It's not easy to like keep kind of digging down into that part of yourself. And so I really appreciate you taking the time to do that.
I appreciate you appreciating it / doing it yourself.
Oh, well, thanks.
It takes a village.
It does.
To get it done, you know, so.
It does, yeah, for sure. But yeah.
We're in this together, baby.
In this together. We'll have a good day. And thanks again for coming on. It was really fun to chat.
Thank you for having me. You're literally the best. We'll talk soon, for sure.
All right, yeah. Sounds good. You can get out of the car now.
Okay, I'm sorry I was in the car. Is that rude?
No.
Is it rude or real? I can't
It was
tell.
kind of nice. It was like a different environment. It's kind of nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been sitting outside my house for like the last 30 minutes. I've actually been home. But I felt like changing the scene was like the wrong move, so.
No, yeah. It was nice. It was nice. Good background.
Thanst for embracing me, girl. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Emily.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Emily Wiseman, everybody. Time flies. Time flies. Yeah, Lauren at first for Katelyn at noon. That's right. I guess from the car. I loved it. Well, Emily's amazing. Go check out her EP, Identity Crisis. And she has a playlist on her Spotify that shows all the songs that she's been a part of writing too. She's just really, really good. And I'm obviously, as you can tell, a huge fan. So go show her some love and follow along with her. And yeah, thanks again, Emily, for coming on. All right, y'all. Well, that's it. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking to Johnny Swim, which is going to be super fun. I can't wait to talk to them. Yeah, so come back tomorrow at noon for that. And I hope everyone has a good day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, also before I go, I have a new song coming out on Friday. So pre-save it at the link in my bio. Put it on your calendars. This Friday, I have a song called Made It This Far coming out, and I'm very excited for you guys to hear it. So, yeah. Just, giving you a little reminder. All right. Bye, guys.